Okay, so let's see if this works. Hello, everybody. It's the Gin and Tonic Show. It's the 1st of November 2015. And this is a test because we are now running on 3 different platforms. So I managed to open the account Gin and Tonic Show on YouTube, which means that I'm now streaming there, but I'm too scared to change anything. So I forgot to write down, or I forgot to copy a link how to find this. So I would need to go to plus to log out and log in as a second stop spamming channel that I created. And then from there, go to the page of the Gin and Tonic Show. Then from the Gin and Tonic Show, I would have to go then to YouTube. And there I would then see the ID of this. So I have no clue where we are live at the moment. But this is a test to see if anything's working. So can anybody hear me? Can somebody just type something to tell me, yes, this is working and this is running, that you can hear something, because I could see something move, but I'm not sure if this is actually transmitting. So anyway, it's the, but hang on, if I'm not being heard, it's, we hear you. Okay, great. Thank you, pretty apostate. You also see me talking. You can see the microphone moving hectically. Okay, it's the 1st of November, and it's a test to see if this is going to work, because I know that there have some people have complained that there's no announcement via YouTube, and YouTube is the preferred platform, and blah, 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 blah. Since the old people have been banned from YouTube, this is now under new management. And we're going to have to see how this works. I don't know if this platform is going to stay. I don't know if anything here is going to, I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to last until somebody comes along and says, oh my God, they're at it again. They're criticizing Islam and blah, blah, blah. They need to be killed. And I do not know how this is going to work. It's just a test. We'll just have to see how long it goes. Do you want the YouTube link? Do you have a YouTube link? Have you found it? Because I see in the chat that Ike has found the YouTube link. How did you find it? I have no idea how you did this, because it's almost impossible using YouTube to find a channel there. But maybe with Gin and Tonic, maybe it's so unique that people can actually find this. Okay, so 1st of November, Gin and Tonic Show. What we're doing is we are first bringing out some definitions, and then we're going to be discussing a couple of things all about Islam. But because now I've been busy in the last couple of hours uploading, doing, making, testing, and so on, I haven't had a chance to actually look at Misconception of the Week and Video of the Week. So anyway, so this is, then we're going to be talking about some news, and from this we're going to make, there's a lot of news today. Oh shit, I forgot, I need to find them. This is the way that it works. Why are we talking about Islam? Well, we're not trying to convert anyone. We're not trying to change anyone's opinion. We're just trying to bring some facts. The way that we do this is we talk about what is happening in the wonderful world of Islam, and then we're trying to give it some context. So we're going to try and get this the message out. What is behind these things? Why is Daesh doing what Daesh is doing? Why is somebody being killed for something? GPZ, could you please mute your microphone?
Mute your dog.
Mute your dog.
Can I interrupt just shortly?
Yeah.
Just for a reminder, I gave the link to YouTube in the comments of one. The problem is there you can't write anything as a comment. There is no chat.
Fiddling again.
What do you mean?
Google has been fiddling again.
Yes, I have no clue what's the problem, but you can't give any comments there, or any chat boxes also not available. So you have only the availability, the possibility to listen, more nothing.
And what is funny, oh, there's nobody there because it says 0 viewers, of course, because there's nobody on the Hangout itself. Because other people are here in the hang. Yeah, but oh, now it says 2 viewers. So 2 people clicked on the link. But it's funny that it doesn't count the people here as being viewers who are in the hangout. This is such a weird thing. I don't know, Google is strange. Anyway, where was I? Thank you very much for that. What we're doing is we're talking about Islam. The way that we talk about it is that we are trying to provide a context to things that are happening around us in the world. Ideally, this is not a one-way road. Ideally, this is a discussion platform. Ideally, this is where people come, voice their opinions, that they either input something or correct something or ask something or whatever it is around Islam. And it would be absolutely wonderful if Muslims could muster the courage, because I don't understand why the IRA guys are bringing out video after video after video. But this is like a sermon in a church. It's one way. It's they are hiding behind their microphones, and then they're spouting their nonsense and their lies and their deceit, but they don't allow anyone to question them. By now that they've switched off all comments, so you're not allowed to say anything on their videos anymore because they're too shit scared to be criticized. Yeah, but hang on. If you are being criticized, then ask yourself what you're doing wrong. Like, I was criticized that there was no YouTube channel. I was criticized that this is not working, this is not working. Okay, so I try and fix it. So if there's something wrong, then I can go and fix it. I mean, then I think, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Why am I doing it wrong? Why are people telling me it is wrong? What about it is wrong? And then I go and see if I can repair it. So it's very strange that people from our era don't do that. They don't work like that. They will just go and say, our planet is flat. It's a disk. Then you tell them, hang on, no, not really. It's not a disk. We've got photos. We've got this and this and this. It's actually a sphere. Or it's spherical. It's an oblate spheroid. And then they say, Earth is flat. And you tell them, no, hang on, it's not flat. And then the next time, Earth is flat. And you tell them, you can't, because they've switched off the comments. So they are not allowing anyone to tell them the facts, the truth, correct them, and in any way discuss with them what it is they are doing wrong, why they're doing it wrong. Then they go and they take somebody like Essence of Truth, and they say, well, why don't you come and discuss this with us, because you're full of lies and you're misrepresenting us. Why don't you come and discuss this with us? And then he says, well, I don't really know, and what for, and blah, blah, blah. No, you need to come over, pull in China. We're going to pay for your lunch. We're going to pay for your transport. We're going to pay you for everything. And then he eventually agrees. And he says, okay, well, then let's have a discussion about this. And now they're saying, oh, no, sorry, no, this is not going to happen. So why do this? Why deceive other people into believing that you are actually open? Why bring out T-shirts saying, don't hate debate? And then all you do is hate. You don't debate. You know, it's petty. It's childish. It's amazing. So if anybody wants to come here, I will have to find out how to get this onto YouTube. I know that after a while you get to call it something, and then you can actually call it the Jinn&Tonic Show. But I don't know if I'm going to be around long enough to do that. Anyway, so there is a way of finding Jinn&Tonic Show. I need to ask Ike how to do that. Or you go and you type in, and this is the easy way for lazy people, live.godless.ch, and then you end up on Vaughan TV. Now, apparently Vaughan TV is brilliant because you can listen, you can watch, and you can comment. So you can ask questions there, totally anonymous, and you can create your own little identity there. You can go comment, ask, or whatever, and then you can go to the hangout.godless.ch, which means that you're going to come here and you can then discuss these things vocally. Here you need to be careful because your ID, your YouTube and your plus ID are going to be used. So if you are there under your real name, then your real name will be shown here, so caveat. Then we have the archive.godless.ch is where you can see past shows, and I've started uploading a couple of shows now to the YouTube account, but the thing is it's incredibly slow, and the thing is that before you can get anything done and before you can get anything entered and blah 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 blah, it's complicated. It's much more complicated than on other platforms. So anyway, Gin and Tonic Show, this is what we are. We'd like to have people come and talk to us and just discuss things regarding Islam. We are not trying to convert anyone. If somebody wants to believe there is a God, well, that's fine. But be aware that if you want anyone else to believe what you believe, you need to come up with some evidence. And that is what people are going to ask for. Why do you believe what you believe? This is what we do. And we don't do this because we are Muslims or non-Muslims or something. People, the majority of people here are not people who need any gods in their lives. So they are just human beings without gods. And this is the funny thing, that a human being with a god is called a theist. Somebody who believes that there's a personal god is called, and there's one god, okay, one personal god is called a theist. And that's it. So a human being plus God equals theist. Now, a human being plus nothing, without this belief, without doing anything, is a human in my eyes. I don't know why I should identify as something that I'm not, and that is an atheist. But come on, I mean, I'm trying to accommodate people. I'm trying to keep the discussion open. So I agree to call myself an atheist. So I accept the label. The one thing that I still have a problem with is practicing atheism. This is difficult for me because I don't do anything. As an atheist, I don't wake up in the morning and think about gods that don't exist. Or when I go for a walk, I don't think about gods that don't exist. When I drive a car, I don't think about gods that don't exist. I don't think about gods. So I don't know why I should identify as something that I'm not. The same way as I don't have wings. Okay, hello, I'm Stops Bumming, I don't have wings. No, I'm just a human being. So I don't know why I should be an a-wingist. The same way as I'm not a racist. That word doesn't actually exist because people realize how stupid it is. Why I need to be an atheist, I do not know. And I don't practice anything, I don't do anything, and I'm also an agnostic. Because I don't maintain that I can prove or that I can be certain about no gods existing, because this is a knowledge question. The agnostic and gnostic, they answer questions about, do you know something? And the atheist only answers questions regarding, do you believe something? And that is the way that it works. So we've established that we're talking about Islam. We've established that this doesn't come from somebody who is a theist or in any way attached to any god, and that we love hearing from people to talk about Islam. So what is Islam? Well, Islam is like it's multifaceted, all right? You have this religion in the middle with the God. And this God then says, okay, you need to go and do this and this and this. And then the God says, you're not allowed to do this, but you have to think about this. And if you don't do that, then something else happens. And this is called a religion because there's no evidence for this God. You just believe it. And why you believe this, I do not know. But you must have your reasons why you believe this. If you are a theist, if you are a Muslim, maybe you like the rigorous routines. I do not know. I always ask Muslims, why don't you come and explain it? There's a very interesting guy, some Germans, who's a Quranist, and I've asked him, can you come? And I've tried stimulating him. I've tried leaving comments on mistakes that he makes, but he's not interested. He wants to preach. He's just there. He brings up, one video after the other, but he doesn't interface. He doesn't discuss anything with people. I don't know why. So I would love to know why or how somebody explains what it is that they're believing, because Islam to me is not clear. It's completely undefined. So if we look at history and we look at Islam the way that it was over the last 1,000 years, we see it's always been political. We've always seen that the big argument between Shias and Sunnis is about who is the caliph and who is the boss of the caliphate in whatever country. So it's always been political. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about why is then this religion, this God, in charge of all these other elements? Because Islam is also a worldview. Islam is a socio-political system, an ideology. It's also an economic system. So all these elements are being determined by religion. But because these statements, could be made from a, I don't know, foreign affairs or justice department or commerce department or ministry or something, then this is what makes it a political ideology. Also, if you apostatize, that means you are committing treason towards the entire country. And that is why people are killed for treason. That's why it's political. Islam is based on something called the Qur'an. The Qur'an, because it's so vague and ambiguous, requires interpretation. Then you get the Sunnahs, the secondary texts, which go and explain a couple of things, but because they are vague and ambiguous, they need interpretation. And because the Hadiths, this is the secondary level of texts in Islam, then you also have the biographies of Muhammad. Then they contradict each other, they contradict the Quran, everything. That somebody asked me today, okay, give me one contradiction in the Quran. Well, I mean, I don't know why people are so dumb. There's so many. There are entire collections on what is contradictory in the Quran. There are collections on what the mistakes are in the Quran. I've shown I don't know how many. And then they say, just show me one contradiction, show me one mistake. Why? It's ludicrous. And then if you show them one, like, I mean, the most simple one is that you have, well, it's not really, it's this khamr, this what people call alcohol. I mean, there is no alcohol in the Quran, okay? It just calls something khamr, and then people interpret this as being alcohol. So this is being mentioned as being good, as bad, and should be avoided, and by the devil. So there's different things about this so-called alcohol. That's a contradiction. They then go and say, well, it was a gradual increasing of the level of prohibition of alcohol. No, it's not. It's only if you automatically assign from good to bad, this is your personal scale. This is human interpretation. Nobody knows when what sentence was written down with what intent. So it's stupid. I don't know why people do that. So anyway, this is what we try and point out, and this is this. So we'd love to have some discussions on this. Let me just see what it says in the GPZ was barking, and I'm sorry that it becomes like, it's such a pity that Vaughan, which is such a promising site, should be so laggy. Such a pity. Okay, then Ike found the YouTube channel for the Jinn&Tonic show, and I hope it's a lot clearer than it is here. That it doesn't have this lag. Brain melting Dawa Man piece. I wouldn't get past 10 minutes. Yeah, but Dawa Man is, I don't know, he's not too bright, is it? When he got to hearts and getting access to them from the chests, she thinks so. She doesn't even say what it did. Fucking. Okay, can you tell us what is going on there?
Well, I was on Twitter and I followed a link that was sent to you by the Rationalizer, and it was Dawa Man talking for about 30 minutes on something. I didn't want to go into all of it. I only managed to go through the first 10 minutes, and it is so mind-stupidly dumb. It starts off with this woman saying that she was joined Facebook, uploaded some photographs. The jinn fell in love with the photographs and has now possessed her.
Oh shit, this is nice.
That's just the first 5 minutes. And then Dawa Man goes on about this being a real thing, and the Satan is after you, and he's after your hearts, and oh my God, my brain was hurting so much I couldn't go for it anymore. No, that's what it was about.
Okay.
I have linked it, but for more amusement, I posted another link underneath that, under WH's Hello British Man. It's a price list. It's a price list for slaves on the ISIS market.
Oh goodness. Oh shit. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up and link to it. Oh shit, this is very small.
Yeah, it was on Twitter, I'm afraid.
£81 for a teenage girl. Yeah, but you can't really see that much. If I save this image as whatever, then I call this image up, and then what happens? If I take this image, open this up, no, then you can't see it. No, this doesn't work. The resolution is too bad. Okay, so this is a price list in the calculation of equality, not forgetting the Islam into women's rights, female. But this looks like a joke.
Well, it's got the Arabic on the other side, if you notice it.
That doesn't make it less of a joke.
Okay, we'll say it's a joke.
Part exchange available once you've raped them half to death. No. This is a joke. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's whatever. And what is worse is that Dawaman, for example, that he has a following. Okay, so I think he's dumbed down his message sufficiently so that a lot of idiots come there and they love what he's saying. And
oh yes, obviously, yeah. If you go and click on the site, you'll find it's got 1,000 likes. Somebody actually likes what he's saying. I mean,
wow. Okay. Thank you for that. So if anybody wants to go crazy, go and watch Dawa Man doing his thing. You know where to find him. You don't need to copy this. I'm not going to put this into the link or anything. I mean, this is so stupid. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about ISIS. We're talking about a UK widow of a jihadist. We're talking about Saudi Arabia. We're talking about a boy in Germany. We're talking about jinns. We're talking about Saudi power struggles, an Iranian actress, Obama's decision, and the United Kingdom takes steps to mend crucial ties with Saudi Arabia. Isn't it wonderful? This harmony and all this is so wonderful and beautiful. What I need to do now is tell you what ISIS is doing, and that is, apparently they're sort of, they're playing around, they're experimenting. They're experimenting with ways how to kill another human being, and they're being very creative. Like now, none of these can be verified. Okay, these are people who are sending Twitter messages. These are people who are just entering things into Facebook. This is just word of mouth. This is just people saying this is what happened, because like in this case there's no video which shows how they tied 3 people to columns in Palmyra and blew up the columns, and then the people together with the columns were simply disintegrated. And this is what they're having fun with, because it seems that because as soon as they're being targeted, they get killed, or they run away, or both. So what they're apparently doing now is taking out their anger and all their aggressiveness and their mighty warrior spirit. They're taking out on things which can't fight back, like columns or people tied to columns, because as soon as they do anything else, they get badly beaten. And this is what seems to be happening. Then, like in this article, it also says that they tried different versions. In other words, they had a guy who they had running away, and then they ran over him with a tank. And that's the way they have fun. Then they have people digging their own graves, and then they're being killed, so that and they're trying to kill them in a way that they fall into their own graves. This is how they have fun. So I don't know. This is so sick. I don't know. And there are people who think this is great, and they're doing what Islam tells them to, and they're establishing a new caliphate, and Baghdadi is going to show the world what Islam is made of, and all these warriors are going to overrun the USA, and the green flag, the black flag will be on top of the White House. This is what they dream of. I don't know why. I don't know what this has to do with Islam, really. I mean, they're copying what a guy did 1,000 years ago. But for crying out loud, just to go after some fairy tale and just copy the guy and do this, this is crazy. I don't know how anybody living today can have fun with this. And yet there are people who are going there who are saying, yes, this is the right thing. This is, I don't understand how that works. This is ludicrous. Anyway, but it does happen, and they're still killing, and Boko Haram are still killing, and all these groups. I don't know why it has to be so violent. They're always talking about the religion of peace. They're always talking about, well, this is a peaceful conversion, and nobody has ever been converted by the sword, and and then people get converted by the sword, and people get killed, and they say, no, 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 this has nothing to do with Islam. I don't know. Okay, then this is a typical example, because we have a lady from the UK who's called Sally Jones. Now, she is the widow of a jihadist. This is the new thing, the jihadist. The jihadi conversion, I think, is quite strange. Anyway, a jihadist now is somebody who is a violent Muslim. In other countries, like in Germany, they call them Salafis. So all the Salafis are the ones who are violent and who are trying to radicalize people. And I don't know why. So this girl is, I mean, she was a musician. She was a punk rocker. She married a guy who went to Syria, became a terrorist, and she says, okay, she's going to go back, and then she says, okay, they're going to attack the United States military installations in the States. I don't know. She says, I'm going to come back and expose some more of your military America, and I'm going to prove to you how social media will be your downfall. Yeah. I don't know why they don't have good arguments. Why can't they bring like really good points, compelling points, like really good arguments which would get somebody to join Islam instead of, if you don't do this, you will get killed. Or if you don't do this, you will get punished. If you don't do this, you will get tortured. Why? Don't they have anything positive? Is there no positive encouragement to go and become a Muslim? Why does it have to be only via violence? If anybody has an answer, please let me know. Then it's a little bit about Daesh still, and what seems to happen now is people are stopping this, calling them Daesh, and now they're starting to call them ISIS. This ISIL is somehow has disappeared, and Daesh has disappeared. Everybody is now saying this is ISIS. I wonder how many people actually know what ISIS means. So this is quite puzzling for me, because it says that Saudi Arabia reaffirms its commitment to oust Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Now, why would the Saudi Arabian family, the Sauds, the king, why would he want to do that? Is it just because he doesn't like Shias? Is it just because he doesn't like Iran? Is it because he doesn't like the support that Shias are getting through Iran, and that al-Assad is not exactly the best Sunni? Is this a part of the Sunni-Shia divide, or what is this? So for me, this is incredibly puzzling what the Saudis are trying to do here. No idea. So they're saying that they have negotiations, and now the US is coming in. Now I don't quite understand why Saudi Arabia is such a wonderful ally of both the US and the UK. I do not know what is going on there. I do not know whether this is all that they are buying all the oil from them, and if they don't have Iraq, Saudi, then they can't supply enough oil or things like that. I don't know how that works. So this is quite puzzling. Why they want to do that? There's another topic on here where South. Anyway, we'll get to that just now. Next up is the situation in Europe is quite weird. Okay, because there are more and more well, I don't know what to call them now. Are they immigrants? Are they refugees? I do not know, because they're finding so many immigrants, migrants, who are coming to Europe for economic reasons and purposes. They're not fleeing a war-torn zone at all, but they're coming to Europe because they think that they're going to have a better life here. And excuse me, they're not all artisans and educated people and doctors and professors, and no. So anyway, what is happening is there's a process that they need to go through if they are claiming asylum, political asylum, and they're saying, okay, I can't go back to my country because I'm going to be killed there. Then they fill out the papers, they register, blah, 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 and then this goes into court, and this is decided, da, 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 and then they get put to a place, and then they can learn German, and there's a whole process for this. But now what happens is that a lot of people are frustrated. Like they showed a hairdresser who was a hairdresser in Syria, came to Europe, comes to Germany, and now he wants to be a hairdresser. But there are too many hairdressers in Germany. So what he's doing is he is now in this refugee camp, cutting hair of people, which I don't think is so bad. So now what is happening is that they're going apeshit, because now people are saying, well, if I can't be a hairdresser, what can I do? And now they're bored. So they go and they complain that Wi-Fi isn't fast enough, and that this doesn't work, and they've got nothing to do, and blah, blah, blah. I don't understand why somebody who comes from a country where he says he is being killed, and then he's being given food, shelter, and everything, and then he complains. This is quite weird. I don't know why this would happen. So they're playing soccer, football, and then a kid comes around and sees the ball and just kicks it back to the people, and then they get mad with this kid. And this is a kid which is 4 years old, and it gets beaten up. So this is quite weird. That now a German kid gets beaten up, has to go to hospital because it touched the ball of the Muslims who are playing football in a field somewhere outside the refugee camp. So I don't understand all these things. But then maybe I don't need to understand them. I just need to accept that these things happen. What is quite funny, and this one I don't quite understand. There's a hate preacher in the UK, and his son got radicalized, and then he went to Syria, and in Syria he said something which the Daesh people didn't like, because he cursed the Prophet Muhammad in some way, and they killed him, they executed him, just like that. So it doesn't matter where you come from. If you say something wrong that they don't like, poof, you're dead. I mean, this reminds me of the wild west, where you know, like, it was cheap. You did something wrong, poof, you're dead. What did he say? Oh, is that what he said? Oh, so I killed him by mistake. Oh shit, for shame. I'm sorry. Well, next time maybe I'll think a bit longer. Just kill somebody first, and then think about what you've just done later. So that's the way it goes. Look, are there any comments on this? Is anybody want to come on the hangout? Because I'm just talking, yakking by myself. I'm just going to go through this, and then after another 5 minutes, I'll be finished, and then this is the end. Are there no comments on this?
Well, going back a little
We've had
ways,
Halloween. Oh, yes.
I can only comment going back a little ways when you were talking about Saudi Arabia being upset about Assad. One point was, I think it was Chris Hedges was commenting that they didn't want a Shiite link from east to west, which would be Assad and some part of Iraq and then Iran, because then they could put oil in a pipeline. And the Saudis were very, very anti that. So Chris Hedges was comment was saying that's why they wanted to try and break up any sort of possibility of that happening.
Sorry, are you saying this is because Syria might supply oil to the wrong people?
The Shiites would.
The Shias are supplying oil
Yeah,
and
they
getting
don't.
an
They
income?
don't. No, if a pipeline is laid, it will be because the Shiite religion is running the land that the pipe runs through. If there's Sunnis in the way, the pipe won't run.
Oh my God, this is
This is, I
crazy.
mean,
So you're saying this is like saying the oil is Shia oil, and we don't want
no,
Shia
no,
oil
no,
running
no,
through
no, no,
Sunni
no.
countries.
I'm not quite saying that. I'm trying to
This is
remember
what it,
Chris.
this is what it boils down to.
Chris Hedges basically came up with this argument a few years ago, and I'm trying to drag it through my mind, and it's not easy. But he was saying that from east to west, if the Sunnis lost, if the Shiites, sorry, I'm getting confused with the two, if the Shiites were able to have a religious east to west link, coast to coast link, then you would get such a pipeline being laid and run, and then the money made from selling oil would fund the Shiite cause, and the Sunnis, being Saudi Arabia, don't want that at all at any cost. So they are very anti-Assad because his religion, which is it's affiliated to Shiite, but it's not. It's something else. But that's why they don't like him. And they demonstrated this week how much more they don't like him. They put a dead or alive posters on him, Assad, for $30,000, I think it was, and for a Al Qaeda operative, only 20,000.
Wow.
So they are pretty determined. They don't like him.
Okay.
And like I say, Chris Hedges was saying it's all about the oil and money and political influences.
Wow, amazing.
Well,
That would be true. I mean, that would be so. I mean, there are thousands dying for something like this. That is beyond me. That is. I don't understand this whole thing between Shias and Sunnis anyway. For me, it's crazy. It's the same as Christians and Catholics.
It's games within circles, because although you've got the one group of people who are playing the religious cards and saying they're doing it because they want to please Muhammad and God, you've got other people who are very cynically manipulating the religious people to do political motivated acts. I mean, to an outsider like us, we can look at them and say, yes, if they're so God-fearing, God-loving, why the hell have they got 20 or 70 Mercedes-Benz cars and Rolls-Royces from all the money they're making? If you had someone who was really piously religious, they would be spending that money on the poverty. No, not camels, but the poor within their community. They'll be trying to build them up rather than themselves.
Wow. Yeah, this is quite crazy. I mean, this is an ongoing discussion. This is why you have all the protests in Bahrain, for example, where the Shias, you have more Shias than Sunnis, but the Sunni emir is the one in charge. They are saying, no, we are being given the rough end of the pineapple here, and we want some justice here. And this is not happening. They're saying, no, this is a Sunni country, and if you don't like it, well, you can go and lump it. But you're not getting a Shia government here in the Sunni country. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how there is this divide, and this is such a violent divide at that. Wow.
It's amazing how it spread to the Americas as well. Why Obama is obsessed with having only Assad kicked out. He won't stand for Assad running the country if ISIS is destroyed. It makes no sense.
Same thing what he had with Hussein, where he said, I cannot tolerate a dictator, I want democracy, where I don't know, I don't think that anyone should do that. If a country wants a dictatorship, well, if you're going to oust every single dictator, you've got a tough job on your hands. And if people want this, well then, tough shit.
Well, you say it was him with him. It was Bush. It's like the American government is just pawns for people who are telling them what to do.
Yeah, but this is sick. I can't see why the U.S. would think that it's the global police and that everybody has to jump as high as they want to. This is sick. I cannot. I don't. Well, what can I do? I don't accept it. I can't say I don't tolerate it. I can't say I'm going to do everything to stop it, because I can't stop it. Because this is really, really, really bad news. That they think that they're going to impose their kind and their level of government, and they call it democracy, and saying, well, this is the holier than thou behavior, and this is the only one that we will tolerate. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's not democracy when you've got Assad supporters supporting him, and he has retained a lot of support within his own country.
Yeah, but Obama doesn't understand. He thinks if Assad is gone, then the people will take the power, and the people will then decide what to do. He doesn't understand that Islam is just another version of Assad. I mean, they are just as intolerant and just as brutal. I mean, I don't understand why they don't learn. I mean, they've seen what happens in Iran, where we had a revolution in 1979. Everybody said, oh, yeah, the Shah is out now. It's going to be much better because now we're going to have the people who are going to have the say. And it was worse than with the Shah. And I don't understand why people can't simply learn this. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm just reading in the chat that Jess says, I ignored you. No, I didn't. The thing is that we went through, we discussed Majid Nawaz, we discussed Irshad Manji, we discussed all these people and their reforms and everything at great lengths. If we should do that again, well, then we can do that. But if you come to me with a topic, I normally pick it up. You said, I ignored your debate topic. I knew you would. No, I don't normally do that.
Speaking of Majid, he's just posted something on Twitter. Apparently, the Islamists in UK jails are levying an ISIS-style jihad tax on the non-Muslim inmates, and he's linked to Sunday Times as a source.
Yes, I mean, you couldn't make that out, could you? This is the Muslim supremacy that we've been talking about. And I do not know Majid's definition of Islamism and Islam.
It's crazy.
Yes, I do.
A few posts up, you got Tom Holland saying, "Isn't it wonderful that jihad tax isn't being implemented anymore?" Oh dear.
Yeah, and I think we discussed this exactly. It was more general reform. It was about Nawaz's definitions of Islamism. I remember hearing or reading what he says, Islam and Islamism. I can't remember what he said.
Oh, he's trying to separate the two, isn't he? He's in a rock and a hard place. He wants to be still a Muslim because if he goes over to places like Pakistan and tries to teach the potential terrorists over there that they shouldn't be terrorists, and they think he's an atheist, they'll kill him. If they think he's a Muslim, they'll think, no, bit of an apostate, maybe not, we'll leave him alone. But he's in that catch-22, so he's got to redefine everything. He's got to say, you've got to be an Islamist rather than a Muslim. Otherwise, he falls into that trap of, you're an apostate, you're going against Muhammad. It's a tricky situation.
My definition is that Islamism is the implementation of the political part of Islam.
Yes, that's how he's came up with it. He's separating the boxes so he can talk about it without being accused of being a non-Muslim.
That's right, because we have Muslims who don't care about politics. They just want to pray to their God and think that they're doing something good. They pray 5 times a year, and then they leave out lunch once during Ramadan, and then for them, I'm a Muslim. I'm a good Muslim. I haven't killed anybody. I don't keep slaves. I have prayed once and I have fasted once, and now that's my shit. I'm now a good Muslim. And you get millions of those. So that's it. And why not? I mean, if you're a cultural Muslim and if you are on that level, you are not an Islamist and you don't follow Islamism. And they're those people, and you need to differentiate between those people who are just, leading their own lives, and then those people who are actually saying, no, we want world supremacy and we want to take over the world. Sharia needs to be everywhere. And there's a difference. And I think somehow we need to differentiate between the two.
Well, I think he's done a good job in trying to, but you've got the other coin where there are atheists who are calling him out for not being an atheist. They're saying, well, how can...
That's stupid. It's exactly what you are saying. He needs to be a Muslim in some areas if he wants to be able to do any kind of work. Has anybody read his book that he wrote together with Sam Harris?
No, I'm waiting for the audio book.
Because that should be quite interesting. I wonder what it is that these two have brought up and what they've concocted there. Because that should be quite interesting.
Mm.
Okay, then we have Yay for Islam in Turkey. So AKP is coming back. This is Erdogan. I mean, what to do us? Well, oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to use South African swear words because a lot of South Africans out here. So I think he's an idiot. I don't know why people take him seriously. I mean, it's like Berlusconi and Putin. They're like dictators in their countries.
Well, they're just having a revote, aren't they? We haven't got a final tally, have we?
Well, Jen says there is an indication that yes.
All I know is up to date, it was a hung parliament. He couldn't form a coalition, therefore he hasn't got the right to run the country, so they're having this second vote. And it's over this weekend.
Constitutional change. Yeah, exactly. This is what they want to do. If the majority wants that, why not? Because the majority are idiots. No, they don't understand what it is that they're voting for. They don't understand what is happening there. There are laws which are being voted in which people do not understand, and this is what we were discussing earlier on in the Weg zur Hölle. There are laws which are being smuggled through parliaments, and you're lucky if somebody catches it. Not everyone, not every time.
Well, you can't trust their media because if you say anything the government doesn't like, they just put you in prison.
Well, that's possible, and Turkey. Is there something that, but then they will have from joining the EU? Exactly. I don't think that Turkey will join the EU ever, because there are too many voices against that.
Well,
yeah. No, refugees is a different story, but Turkish, she doesn't want Turkey in there, because
no, I thought that was her plan, to let Turkey in by giving them fast-tracked working permits, but they in return had to stop any refugees travelling through the country and going across the Med.
No, the problem is letting Turkey into the European Parliament.
Oh, I don't think they'll be doing that, but there are people. Yeah, I know what Turkey wants. It's really down to what Brussels wants. In the end, it's not even up to Germany. Brussels seems to be a bit of a loose cannon at times.
Don't tell me that because last week my machine simply died. I hope this is not happening again. Okay, let me just continue. I don't know if people have heard this about the asteroid, the Halloween asteroid, the what the fuck
asteroid. It looks like a skull.
Sorry?
It looks like a skull.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I've seen a picture of something that looks like a skull from NASA, saying it's the skull asteroid.
Yeah, but is that an artist's impression or a photo?
Well, I don't know. It's spinning round.
Okay. Anyway, a couple of years ago, this was, if I remember correctly, that this was spotted, and they thought it's going to hit Earth, and it didn't. It's going to be safely. Is there a distance? Oh, it's further than the moon. It's like 500,000 kilometers away. Oh, okay. Just beyond the orbit of the moon. Exactly. The asteroid poses no threat of hitting Earth, but it does give Australia a tantalizing chance to ping the space rock with radar to learn more about what it's like. Well, they should piggyback on this. And it's 1 p.m., 5 o'clock GMT. We'll host a free live webcast. Oh, we just missed it. I suppose this is going on now. You can watch space.com courtesy of SLU. I don't know what that is. NASA scientists are tracking so far observations on Friday and blah, blah, blah. So we just missed it. I'm surprised none of the Christians came out and said, well, it's the end of the days. Muslims are always telling me this now. Well, we are nearing the end times. We've had the red moon. We've had this, and now it's getting closer, and soon Jesus will return, and there you go. Now, we talked about Saudi, and we talked about how they do not like Shias. But now, the problem is you have to now ask what part of Saudi doesn't like it, because apparently there's a power struggle going on within Saudi, within the family, because apparently there are two princes who are fighting with each other over what is supposed to happen in the future. So it's quite crazy that they have tensions inside Saudi Arabia. Then they have tensions Saudi Arabia with Yemen, which they say, no, this is just temporary, and we're just sorting out the problems and helping Yemen and things like that. But we're all about peace. And meantime, they're doing the exact opposite. So it's quite weird what is going on in Saudi at the moment. And they closed my channel, so I think we should throw bombs at them. Oh my God, I shouldn't say that, because somebody's going to take this seriously or something. And then somebody's going to listen. The NSA thinks, oh my goodness, what a violent show. No, I did not say that. That was satire. It was not meant intentionally and in earnest. Okay, then we have an Iranian actress which was banned from acting because she posted lewd and immoral pictures of herself on what's it called, social media.
Yeah, had a picture of her head with hair.
And what she did exactly. Do you want to tell people what happened?
No, I just saw a little tweet about it today.
She was banned from acting in Iran and branded immoral because she posted a photo of herself with her hair. She is not covering herself, and you can see the neck too. Oh my goodness, women have necks? What next? They might as well go naked. Anyway, this is too funny. And she's now in Dubai. I don't know if she's going to be doing any acting in Dubai. I do not know. I think this is absolutely crazy that a person can put a photo. I mean, if she puts a photo of herself onto a non-Muslim run website, why would anybody worry about it? Do they? I mean, if their God allows it, then what the fuck? Are they going to say my God is incompetent because he allows websites to post photos of women without being covered? If there would be a God, this God would not allow this, surely. Any further comments on this? Oh, come on, somebody please comment on this, pretty please.
Find the Halloween picture.
Now she has to take a shit on another mind. She can't do that all the time. The skull via NASA post. Ah, you got the photo of this?
Yeah, I posted it above that.
Stolen that whore. Exactly. How can she dare put a photo of herself without covering her hair and with a naked neck? Oh my God. Okay, next up I've got Putin, who apparently is the reason, or he ordered the US Army to put troops on the ground in Syria. Because apparently, because Putin came in, this got Obama enraged, and he said, well, if Putin is there, then I need to be there. I mean, it's like the Cold War all over. If the Russians are doing something, I need to match it. Who cares? Why worry about the Joneses? Just let them go. If they want something, then so be it. Who cares?
It's politicians. I mean, I get really sick of it. I know it's not to do with Islam, but our government in the UK recently had the House of Lords reject something of theirs, policies that they wanted to push through. And the next thing you know, the Prime Minister is throwing all the toys out of the prams, wanted to see if he can close down the House of Lords. And that's all that's happening over there in Syria. The Russians have invaded, and Obama's throwing his toys out of his pram and sending his troops over there.
Yeah, but now Russia is going to see, oh my goodness, Obama's put troops on the ground. Now we need to be one better, so this one-upmanship continues, and the whole thing is like a swing, you know.
It's absolute one-upmanship madness. The only thing worse is having people in power that... Oh, can you imagine what it's going to be like if Donald Trump gets to be president? Oh my God, it'd be like having power right in the Prime Minister.
Classic comment. What did he say? I forgot what he said. But he said something where, I mean, this had me giggling hysterically because it's so stupid. But I forgot what it was. But this guy is so stupid, really.
Yeah.
Okay, next we are looking at, I don't know if you remember the story we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where Britain was was taking Saudi Arabia's expertise in handling prisoners. And then they were criticized for it, and they said, oh, well, actually, no, this was just a joke. Then Saudi Arabia started sulking and said, oh my God, first you give us all this, and then now all the money is gone. So now the UK is stepping and saying, oh no, we didn't mean it like this, and now they're trying to mend the relationship with Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia has all these wonderful human rights, and they know exactly how to look after prisoners when they are being flogged and decapitated or crucified and things like that. I mean, this is...
I thought the money was not going towards looking after the prisoners, but trading the staff.
Okay.
Making sure the staff are feeling good about their job.
Yeah.
So you'd have a happy executioner, one who took pride in his chopping.
Our constitution is based on the Holy Qur'an. I don't know what holy means. Holy is a miracle. I tried to explain it to me. Holy means from making whole, so from healing. So anything that is a healing. What does the Quran heal? If I put a Quran on a pimple, does the pimple go away?
No, you've misunderstood the word holy. Holy as it's full of holes.
Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah.
Full of contradictions. We've had a prisoner problem as well in the UK. Have you heard about the last Guantanamo prisoner being released back to England?
No, I thought that they don't send them to Australia anymore.
No, he was. Now, get this. This guy was never a British citizen. Never. He was a Saudi national. He came over to England because he married a British woman, and he was given the right to stay in England. But he decided that he was going to move, and he moved himself and his family over to Pakistan, I believe it was, into a Taliban-run area.
Okay, I'll get myself a beer.
He was then snatched by the Americans and shipped over to Guantanamo and tortured and interrogated for 13 years. He was twice deemed suitable for release, once under President Bush, once under President Obama, but neither time was he released. Now they have decided he can be, and he was sent back to England.
Not to Pakistan.
Not to Pakistan, he was sent back to England, where he's now going to sue the British government for £1 million.
Oh, like the other guy who got 1 million and then
buggered off to ISIS.
Yeah. And then he gave everything to ISIS, yeah.
And everybody's sort of like wondering, but he's not even British. I mean, what responsibility do we have to this man whatsoever? One, he's a Saudi national. 2, he had actually left England and was starting to live in Pakistan when he was caught. So, like, the only ties England actually has with him is via his wife. Are we paying her £1 million for him not giving her nookie?
Well, Saudi are the allies. Saudi are our allies, aren't they?
Well, why don't we send him to Saudi? Oh, it's crazy. And the other prisoner news we have, it's just newly released. One of the Sharia patrol guys got let out of prison. And he's now saying that he was totally wrong and he should never have done it. Islam is a religion of peace. He just misinterpreted all the scriptures.
Yeah, they do that. It's his fault and not God's. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's done a few videos on LBC.
That's exactly what Majid Nawaz says about his history. But people are taking it quite seriously. He says that he was a Muslim extremist. He wanted. He went through a period in his youth where he wanted, the overthrow of various governments to be replaced with Islamic theocracies.
Oh yeah.
Now he's doing the whole that was Islamism and it's wrong speech.
Yeah. We haven't got any news about Europe in England at the moment. It's like a complete blackout. We've not heard anything about. I have not seen any news on the BBC websites about Europe.
I wouldn't rely on the BBC for anything.
Well, you'd find if there was something going on, like the Calais people trying to break into the tunnel, or Germany having problems, or Sweden having problems.
Okay, what would you expect to see?
Something.
Hello?
We haven't heard anything about this charge you were going on about in the football. And I would have thought that would have been news.
Yes, Abu.
Yeah. If you wanted news, I can give you an insider news. Because yesterday I was talking to one of the leading dudes in the assault team in one of the Scandinavian countries, and we talked about Islamists and the threat of terrorist attacks, and I was quite surprised because he told me how often these attacks are avoided by the our version of what is called our version of FBI so and he said it's more than once a month. It's almost once a week. So it's and he also told that before this refugee crisis, they pretty much had every guy under control, but now they start to lose control of them. So he's quite pessimistic.
Jeez, that's weird.
Yeah, it was. He told. Yeah, it was a weird experience to listen how close, we have been to terrorist attacks, and we are every month, but no one very few know about it.
But I always wonder about these things, whether this is exaggerated to make people feel better, or whether this is really the case.
He's saying that the politicians are consciously not telling them how dangerous the situation is, because that would cause panic. But he said if you you shouldn't go to the Christmas. It's if you go and shop on Christmas shopping, you shouldn't do that. It's stupid. But the politicians aren't telling anyone because that would cause panic and so on. So it's a conscious move, and that's normal. It's also I remember the economic crisis, which is back in in one of the Scandinavian countries back in the 90s. The politicians they knew that a financial crisis were coming, but no one talked about it because they didn't want anyone to panic, and this is even more like dangerous. So
exactly,
yeah,
that might be why they're not featuring it on the British news, because we do have this European election decision coming up, and they're starting to do the political staggering at the moment, the posturing. Nigel Farage saying you don't want all these migrants coming into the UK, and if we heard about Germany having lots of problems, that would build up this anti-Europe side. And Cameron's going around saying he's going to do reforms, but not actually putting forward any proposals for any reforms. So it just looks like he's going to do sweet FA, but say he's done everything to make things better.
I heard him say he's going to do whatever the people want and what is good for the people, but without actually stating what that is.
Yeah.
I want to jump in here in the case of prevention. Abu Muhammad talked just recently. I just take the case of Germany, because after 9/11 also Germany put some anti-terrorist laws in order. And at first people just said, okay, fine, anti-terrorist law, it's good, it's prevent us, it makes us safe, etc. And at the beginning, the German government said, like, we have countless preventions of terrorist attacks. Later, the people found out that there wasn't any real threats, really immediately threats in Germany. Then the government corrected their countless number. They corrected it to 50. And after that, people still found it suspicious and again talked against the government. Then the government said, well, it's maybe like 5 preventions we've made till now. And people still was some investigative journalists still weren't very pleased with this statement by the government, and the government said, well, we haven't any actual real threats prevented that we can say we have prevented. So it's hard to take this serious if somebody tells you we prevented something, because if such a big government like Germany is a big government and a strong country in the whole world, and puts up such lies, that is just simple lie, one after another. It's hard to take it serious if somebody talks about preventions.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, but this guy he's not like in he's in the I mean, he's in the team that, you know, like the squad that goes in and, like, if you have a hostage crisis and things. So they have to go to places almost every month and secure places. So, I mean, it's not that. I mean, they are pretty expensive, so they wouldn't do these things if they weren't like having.
Yes, but what makes you secure that he is telling you the truth about his job? I mean, he also could just lie because he have been ordered to lie about this to make it more appealing to the people that they.
Yeah, but this was in complete like it was. This was the opposite of public. This was like, shh, don't tell anyone, but it's quite. So, but maybe he's. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's like over exaggerating, but I don't think it's not like it. I think there is real threats every month. I don't doubt that, because I mean the dudes that went to jail for in Denmark, they were planning to make an assault on this newspaper. That was a real thing. Then they have done that several times. So I don't know if he's exaggerating, but I'm not doubting that they are trying, at least. Like the extremists are trying to make terrorist attacks.
Could be, yes. But I just wanted to give a little small other light side of the whole issue. in the case of Germany, it's simply not that easy to accept it. The whole issue about threats and that it will be prevented, etc. That is all.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Can I change the topic?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I had some fun. I was reading the Birmingham manuscript.
Yeah.
So I was trying to compare it to like the modern Qur'an, and I can only find 2 pages, but the left page is actually quite interesting, or it's pretty impressive, actually. It's pretty much exactly like the modern version. But the right side, I don't understand. I can't find like. I thought it was because on the left side you have like Surat Maryam, and on the bottom you have Surat Taha, and it's exactly like the modern version. But the right side of the page I can't find. I mean, it's like they are not using the dots and the things like this modern things. Like they don't have dot over qa, for example. But yeah, so I don't know. Have anybody else researched this and find anything?
Well, the only thing I picked up about it.
Information about this. I looked at the things and I couldn't even make out whether this is Kufik or Hijazi, because you can actually see this. But the way that this is written, it's in such a bad resolution that I cannot see which one it actually is. Because I looked at the documents in the, like in the Islamic museum, but I have not been able to distinguish anything from these fragments, because I haven't been able to see the level of detail that everybody tells me that this is so wonderful and so great and this absolutely proves. And for me, it doesn't. So that's why I stopped it, because it was simply uninteresting.
But are you looking at the Birmingham manuscript? Because I'm looking at a picture.
There's a couple of photos.
But is it only 2 pages, or is it more than 2 pages?
No, it's exactly this. It's 2 pages.
Oh, okay. Because I can understand the left side of it. It's not good. I mean, for example, noon they write in a very weird way. And they write some letters in a weird way. But I can understand it. But the right side, I don't find. Okay, maybe I have to continue this. But I actually think the left side was pretty impressive. But the funny thing is also. They say it's from, what was it, 568, between 568 and 645, like Christian time, like after Christ. And that was 2 years before. So it's 2 years before, between 2 years before Muhammad's birth, and just 1 year into Khalifa Uthman's time of Khalifa. So it's kind of weird. Is this older than Islam? Is this?
Well, no. Hang on. There's 2 different statements here. The one thing is there are fragments which are older than the Birmingham one. So we know that there are Quranic sentences, in other words, very similar to what the Quran says, from before the 6th century. This we know. Like in the Sana fragments, for example, manuscripts also have this. But then the other statement is you only have the date of the material. You don't know when it was used.
Okay, so is it the date of... Is it paper or is it like animal skin? What have they dated? I think they have carbon dated it, but is it the animal skin or paper or what is it?
No, it can only be animal skin. It can't be, because I don't think, no, they didn't have parchment in those days. Not in Arabia anyway.
It was animal skin, and they can carbon date the ink, but they'd have to use so much of it, you probably wouldn't have any manuscript left.
So what they did, as far as I know, is they just looked at the material. Correct. And that has that age. But if this material has been lying around for 200 years without being used, well, it can be anything. So what the way that they dated, for example, the Sana documents, is that they had drawings. So they had drawings of a mosque being built, which has, when it was completed, has a date on it. This mosque was completed or inaugurated by Caliph blah 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 on this and this date. And then you have the mosque in a half-finished condition, and this is being drawn on this on this document, on this manuscript. And then you know, aha, this manuscript must have been drawn when this mosque was not yet finished. So we know it was before the finishing of the mosque, where we have the date. So there are several indications which help you in dating historically. But you can't just take one date, which is the material, and say, that is the age of this. This is the problem that IRA, for example, has, because they are trying to prove, because they make the statement, the Quran appeared during the lifetime of the Prophet. Now, they need to show two things. Number one, when did the Prophet live? And then they need to show when it was that this whole thing happened. And now that they're looking for pieces which they can somehow shove in there, and that is what they're doing.
The funny thing is that the Quran didn't existed like completed in that way.
Well, nobody knows.
Until, like according to the Sunnah, it was completed by Uthman, or like gathered. So this is older than the period of his rule. It's kind of weird.
It is. So we're never going to know for sure. But then, if you look at the contents, and this is now the historical approach, if you look at the contents of the Quran, it's absolutely nonsensical to believe that it came about at that time in that area. It doesn't work. And then you start looking for alternatives, and you start looking at the contents, you start looking at what makes sense, and then the further you go north, if you add a couple of decades, if you add a couple of centuries, then it suddenly makes sense. This is how I do it. This is what drove me into looking at the origins of the Quran, and this is what I decided this is the best approach. I don't know if it's correct.
Do you know if this Sana manuscript is it public now? Can you?
No,
it's not public. Okay.
Because this is the funny thing. Because the Yemen, what's he called? The Minister of Culture. I forgot his name. Okay. The professor that was in charge there, this Professor Gert Puyn from the university in Saarbrücken in Germany, they were checked out. Now, they took all the photos, and very few of them have been released because they know that this is going to cause a huge outcry within Islam. I mean, they have in their hands, I think, sufficient photos to show that the way that the Sunnah was written, the way that the Sunnah is accepted today, can be disproven, but they will not do that because of political correctness and cultural sensitivity.
Yeah, that's too bad. But I think Tom Holland said something about that they would release them next year.
Well, they've been saying that for the last 15 years, but they haven't. Some have. I mean, there's a guy who actually wrote a book on it. I've got it here. Heinz Ohlig. Because I have a book here by from Karl-Heinz Ohlig and Gert Puyn, and these two have collaborated. And Ohlig was going to. Ohlig actually made public a couple of them, but they were inconspicuous. So this is not yet over. So there's still a time bomb ticking somewhere. Shame, poor Saudis.
Yeah, but these kind of things I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I want to know what happened in reality. I want to know.
I wonder whether we're ever going to know.
Yeah, we have to build a huge computer that can simulate all history from Big Bang to now, and then we will know.
Yeah. Wishful thinking. Okay, I have one topic left. If I can find it. I don't know why I've got these graphic problems that he's cutting out. I think my graphic card is overheating. I think I need to open this machine and clean it. We ended up with the UK trying to say sorry to Saudi because they deprived them of some income. And Saudis are now saying they need to apologize because but now inside of Saudi Arabia, people are fighting about who has the say and what the future is of Saudi Arabia and the way that it's going to work and things. So nobody knows what Saudi is up to. I mean, they're very secretive about everything, and they're saying, oh, it's the center of Islam and blah blah. Well, I'm sorry, you can only generate that much income from your Disneyland thing in Mecca. And that's it. So if anybody has any other topics, then feel free to contribute or something. But at the moment, this is all I have in the form of news, which happened in the news over the last week. Do we have any more comments? Ataturk really felt snuffing out Islam in Turkey. Well, Ataturk tried. He tried to get people on a secular track, and he said, okay, yes, it's great, but don't put too much importance into Islam. It's a religion and it's nothing political, and he really tried. But if you can't, if people want this, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, look at Russia. I mean, they had the most suppressive system, and look what happened. Failed.
Maybe you should have put something more strongly about the teaching of comparative religion into the constitution or something, because that seems to be long term the best way to do it. If children are taught comparative religion, like for me, I suppose I was never strongly religious, but I was kind of verging on Christian, and probably the most memorable time for me when I sort of realised that it was almost certainly man-made was religious education at secondary school, because they put all the religions on a level playing field, all the large ones anyway, and they just sort of teach, this is what these people believe, this is what those people believe. I think if he'd really centred on comparative religion teaching as part of his secular education, that might have had a better effect.
Yeah, this is what okay, has anybody watched the street epistemology thing? Because this Anthony guy, I mean, I think he's absolutely wonderful. He has this, I don't know, he's got this in his body, in his brain, in his mind, in everything. He is so clued up with this. And the way that he goes about it is exactly what you are saying then. In the end, he says, well, listen, have you thought about how to sell to me your particular flavor of a God? How would I be able to distinguish your claims from those of a Muslim or from a Hindu or from, I mean, what does Yahweh, how does it make Yahweh different from Allah or Vishnu or anybody? And that is exactly the killer question that nobody can answer, because there is no difference between the gods. And that's when the people start stuttering and they're saying, well, actually it's the same, and this is only one God, it's just different implementations of the same God, and then they start waffling, and that's it. So it's exactly what you are saying. This must be one of the really, really strong arguments.
Yeah, so draw out the really key differences between the religions. Don't allow this sort of lazy hand-waving that they're all basically the same God, and we'll just forget about the polytheistic ones. They all basically believe in one God and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm hoping to try this. I was actually hoping that somebody like, there's this guy in Hyde Park, he's an Indian guy called Shabir, and he calls himself True something. He's a real asshole, okay? And what he does is he lets people talk and then say, and then he waits until somebody says something and says, well, please give me the evidence for this. And now the guy has to look for evidence where he says, well, Islam is true because we have angels and jinn, and nobody thinks of saying, yeah, but hang on, where's your evidence for all of this? He's such an idiot. And I was hoping that somebody like that will come on, that I could actually go and talk to them and ask them and use this methodology and bring them towards thinking like this. But I don't know. We're not going to have any Muslims in here who can actually think.
This is why I wanted to bring up the Majid Nawaz thinking, because basically his big argument is you're not going to cause 1.6 billion Muslims to apostatize, is that the word? Anytime soon. So for me, the question is, which is his argument? It's more likely that you'll succeed in reforming Islam than getting all the existing Muslims to become atheists.
And I agree with him. Yeah.
But for me, the debate is not between those two positions. It's between reforming Islam and trying to give children a secular education, so that in a few generations' time, you reduce the level of religiosity.
Yeah, but that's already happening. The thing is,
not really.
If you start...
If you've got faith schools in the UK, it looks like Turkey's getting more Islamic, not less Islamic.
But those are singular instances. If you look at it on a bigger scale, then the way that it works is you have less and less influence by religion. You have more and more influence by rational thinking and everyday reality. This is why the young people today, they don't want to... I mean, a girl today does not want to go and cover her hair.
Oh, I think you completely missed out on what happened in England there. Jeremy is bang on the head of the nail when he's talked about the faith schools. Tony Blair, his first one he set up was a creationist school. Then he started allowing the other religions to get involved, and we started seeing some pretty hardcore Muslim schools starting up, which were preaching the stricter forms of Islam.
Yeah.
And it has led to a situation where last week the news was saying that Cameron and other of his front benchers have admitted that they have to be intolerant to even some of the peaceful Muslims and some of their beliefs, because they are hardcore beliefs and they do lead to more violent Muslims.
So peaceful in that, you know, they wouldn't kill Charlie Hebdo cartoonists, but they would support it.
Yes, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they haven't gone too much into detail, obviously, but what Cameron was saying last week was far more of an admission towards recognising there is a problem going on with some of the Islamic cults within communities, than just ignoring it and saying everybody else is an Islamophobe. I mean, like that was the week where we had that woman on the bus being arrested for being Islamophobe because she had a rant against the Muslims, and then we had another one of a guy who was arrested for also having a go at a migrant who'd come over here to retire, and he threw his walking frame off the bus. And I thought the ironic thing on both of these cases was the woman that was attacking the Muslims who were over here. The Muslims who were over here were actually from Italy, and she was having a baby, so she'd come over to England. So is she questionably a health tourist? Because being over here, she wouldn't have to pay for privatised healthcare for prenatal health. And with the other guy, and she was black as well, this woman that was attacking. It wasn't a white woman attacking a Muslim, it was a black woman attacking a Muslim.
Yeah, that really confused the left-wingers, didn't it?
God, that did it. And then the other guy, he didn't get so much press over this, but did you actually read his name? It was not Christian. I think it was an ex-Muslim attacking a Muslim, saying he was a health tourist, and he'd only come over here to get his walking frame and everything.
And so what?
What?
And so what?
Well, it was the way the media was sort of like blowing it up to saying, don't talk to Muslims, protect Muslims, Muslims are being persecuted and attacked. But if you looked actually really deep down into the causes of each and every incident, it was a cultural clash. these other people were intolerant to a community. The Muslim woman that was being attacked refused to fold up her buggy when she got on the bus, making it difficult or impossible for other people on the bus. And the Muslim man had used his walking frame to block the buggy site, so the man who had brought his child on the bus couldn't park his buggy. So there were things that you and I, well, I would culturally know, that you fold up your buggies, you put them in this particular rack, whereas the foreigner wouldn't. Cultural problems.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also common sense.
Well, yeah, yes and no. We call it common sense, but it's like the IQ test. Some of it was run down because it was culturally unsensitive. You would know a word because you were brought up with that culture, but another person wouldn't because he was brought up with a different country, even if they were living in the same country. Yeah. So it was a bias going on there, and that's what seems to me was the problem going on in the buses, and why people were getting really angry with these Muslim migrants, because their culture was sort of like giving off the impression, we're the kings, you're the peons, we have the right to do everything we can do, and you don't, and you can't question us, and if we want to block a passageway with our buggy, you're just a kafir. And this black woman's just like exploded, and this other guy, he exploded, and next thing you know is arrest them, they're racist. And after that, Cameron sort of like changed his party position, and it stopped being let's protect the Muslims all the time, and sort of like saying, well, hang on, maybe these people have a point, maybe this multiculturalism isn't working, maybe the so-called peaceful Muslims don't particularly like us very much.
The Conservatives, years and years ago, I don't know, can't remember which leader it was at the time, they declared that multiculturalism had failed in Britain. It was like 5 years ago now, wasn't it? So,
well, I know there was somebody who came out with that message, but it wasn't the party. It was it came over from Europe, didn't it? From France. They were the ones who declared multiculturalism had failed.
I thought it was the Conservatives who declared that in the UK.
No.
Well, maybe they said Labour's multiculturalism. They've got a different version of multiculturalism or something.
They probably accepted the actual words that was said, but I'm pretty sure it was over in Europe that somebody else came out with it, and they might have agreed with it because some of the Tories over here are pretty racist, to be honest. They would love to bring back the Nazis.
Sorry, over where?
In England, some of the Conservatives are pretty Nazi racist.
Not known of any. I've not known any that want to bring back the Nazis.
Yes, well, they are. Believe me, they are.
What, is that representative of the party?
Not representative of the party. It's more of their sort of like extremes.
Well, yeah, but you can say any party, any significant sized party is going to have extremes.
Any significant party would probably do what Nigel Farage does and kicks out the ones who are publicly out and boasting about it. When one of the Conservatives get out of line and publicly boast about it, like that guy did in America, they just say, oh, he's eccentric, but we put up with him because of democracy.
Okay, then Vendor just made a suggestion. Why don't we cause a bit of a stir? And that is organized like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 non-believers. He calls them atheists. Get and make some videos, make some noise, and we're new Muslims and blah blah blah. And then something happens, and then 2,000 people say, "Oh no, this is not what we can condone. We are now leaving Islam." Poof, and everybody says, "Thank you very much, goodbye." I'm sure that would create quite a stir. Absolutely, I like this idea. Al-Assad is here, which means that he's waiting for the hadith of the day. Then there's, I was born with the Muslim faith, but I'm now an atheist or an anti-theist, so I'm also faking. Nobody is born with any faith. Yeah, exactly. That is why I use that, I don't, because it is stupid. I mean, I always maintain that faith, in other words, religion, in other words, gods, are like a language. I mean, as a baby, you don't understand gods, you don't speak a language, so both need to be taught to you. So as a baby, you learn how to speak, and you learn a language, and you learn a god, or you don't. And that's, I think, the way that it works. And then you start using the language with your brain, and then it becomes your tool and your abilities that dictate what you're going to do with that language. And the same, I think, goes with gods. And some people grow up and some people don't. It's that easy. Okay, is there anything else that anybody wants to contribute, ask, or comment?
That reminds me of there's a sketch with Jimmy Carr went on the Late Late Show, which is an Irish show, and he's sort of telling jokes about Jesus, and they're all sitting there with their arms folded, and he can tell that they're not liking it. He's sort of saying, you know, the Irish people are saying, tell some jokes and leave Jesus alone, and then eventually he says something like, "Oh, I don't cry. We've all got imaginary friends. I've just grown out of mine."
Yeah, exactly. Go and mock others, but leave ours alone. Exactly. How do you do this Irish accent? You're very good at this.
I didn't think it was. I didn't know it was.
Well, it came across as very well done to me because I immediately recognized it. So I liked it. Okay, if there's nothing else, then we might as well call it a day. I like the experiment. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if this is going to end up on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'll just have to see how it works. And most of all, I'll have to open the machine tomorrow and take out all the dust because I think my graphics card is overheating. Al-Assad, welcome. Are you going to contribute something, or are you just going to watch as Ike plays what Ali is saying?
No, I kind of missed it because yesterday we had...
You unmuted your mic, but I can't hear anything. Now you muted your mic again, but I still can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear Al-Assad.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
You can hear Al-Assad.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Oh, so some can and some can't. Anyway, we had a daylight saving time, so I kind of missed half the show. I think we are having some technical problems.
It's just stopped spamming. Something wrong with his computer.
Yeah.
So you can hear Al-Assad say something?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear him. He's quite clear, audible.
Why can't I?
Jinn.
I can hear you guys, but I can't hear Al-Assad. Come on, are you kidding me now?
Jinn on the internet have cut you off.
Yeah, but I can hear you guys, but I can't hear Al-Assad. Okay, so what's he saying?
Allah has peed in your ears.
Yeah, I must. But I heard that.
Basically, I was in Pakistan for
okay, so what are we doing? Nothing. Then
Let him talk.
Be quiet. We'll let you know when you can talk again. Stop. He wants to say something about Pakistan. Off you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, yeah. No, I first of all, I missed the show because there was daylight saving times in Toronto, so I was only able to tune in for an hour. But next week I'll remember about the daylight saving times, and hopefully my mic will be working. I was in Pakistan for like 2.25 months, and I had a great trip there, and I'll share some of my trip with you guys next week. Hopefully next week stop spending mic or earpiece would work.
Okay, he stopped talking now. He was just telling us about how he'd been in Pakistan, and when he gets a better microphone, he'll be able to tell you more about it on the show.
Wow. Oh no, I couldn't hear anything. Strange. Okay, so then Is he contributing anything else, or can we finalize this?
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, we'll finalize it. I'll contribute when everybody can hear me. It's no fun, inability to hear of stuff spinning. I'll contribute next week. Hopefully, his earpiece will work next week.
He says, carry on, stop spamming, and maybe in the future, Satan won't be peeing in your earphones and you can hear him.
Being in my in my headphones, you mean?
Yeah.
All right, then, Ike, are you going to play the hadith of the week?
No, I will save my hadith.
In your ear. Speaking of which,
I'll save my hadith for next week till everybody can hear me.
He'll save it till next week.
Well,
yeah, but that's a lesser, not Ike.
should I play the extended one or the short one? Stop, people.
Extended.
Okay, I play the extended one.
تصدى الطيران الحربي الله أكبر.
this is from Sahih Bukhari 2471, or the old version, book 46, hadith 32. And this one was narrated by Hudayfa. I saw Allah's messenger coming to the dumps of some people and urinated there while standing.
Isn't that a bit of a big deal? Because didn't he say you have to be sitting?
It's even funnier when you know like how much effort al-Bukhari went through to get to this hadith. He like traveled far away and then he went. He heard this hadith.
I don't know why I didn't hear or see anything, but I thought this was very funny.
Actually, it reminded me of an argument that seems to be going on Twitter about the muddy pool, and some people are now claiming it wasn't a muddy pool.
Of course not. It's just you don't understand ancient Arabic, and if you actually look at the words, they actually mean that it's to the west of everything, and the muddy is to the, and the pool is actually west. And then if you go and interpret this, and if Allah had given you the ability to learn ancient Arabic, you will see that it's actually saying to the west, which nobody had known at the time, which means the Quran must have been written by God.
Look, if you read, I can recommend about that if it's like this thing in Surah Al-Kahf. Read Tafsir Ibn Kathir and read what he says about this, and look up the hadith that he refers to. It's very funny.
Can you read it first? Do you have it handy, or do you have to also look for it?
Actually, I have it in my library, but it would maybe we can do it next time.
All right, then do it like that. That would be brilliant. Yes. Okay, then that's it for today. Thank you very much, everybody.
Just on the urination hadith. Is that the entire hadith? Because yes. I thought each of them was supposed to. I can't think of the word now. Teach some kind of moral lesson or
well,
something.
This is exactly why I picked it, because it doesn't, because it's so stupid.
I mean, it's the idea that each one gives a moral lesson, or is it some of them just literally describe the life of Muhammad?
Yeah, sometimes really they are this stupid, or what I call useless. Totally.
That's probably why there's so many of them.
And I mean, you need to remember there were, I don't know how many times more of these, hundreds of thousands of these. This is only the cold version, and they are still taking things out. When they find something inappropriate, it disappears from the Hadith collection.
Yeah, it's amazing. He decided that was important enough to keep, and what did he throw away?
Exactly. All right then. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week. This was the Jinn&Tonic show, and remember, if you want to join or something, just go to live.godless.ch or hangout.godless.ch, and if you want to see the old ones, just go to archive.godless.ch. Now we're back on YouTube, and I'll have to see if this works, and how I'm going to advertise it, I do not know. If there is something, then I will just make a quick video the way I used to do it, just advertising and reminding people that there is going to be a Jinn&Tonic show. Thank you, everybody who contributed, and thank you, everybody, for listening and being such a wonderful crowd and being so understanding when it comes to all these technical issues that we're having here. Thank you very much. Cheers. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.